edge beading, which is, there's a little edge beading there. There's some large bead edge beading here on this bag. There's some edge beading on the top of that bag. And there's edge beading here. On this strap, the leather was really, really thick, so I got to bead this side and edge bead both sides. And frankly, that was just showing off. But it worked. It's kind of pretty, kind of real, it's just got a real nice texture. Okay. Now, for edge beading, all you need is a single, one needle and thread, but with doubled thread. And I'm going to start with these little blue beads. I like to edge bead from the right to the left. I'm coming up out through the, like the edge, okay? And you bead this, you bead it with the good side facing you. Now I'm going to show you how to do a stacked edging, and there's going to be, the stacked edging is going to be stacked too high. And when you do that, you put on 4 beads to start. You go right next, a bead's width away from that, where that thread came up, and you come in the same edge and off to the side. And make it so that your stitch takes, but make it high up on the side, because then your stitches won't show, otherwise they will a little bit. When you do that, first stitch with the 4 beads, they'll bend over, and what you need to do is go through the last 2 beads, and you go through them without taking a stitch. You're just reinforcing it, you're not going through any leather. And there you have the start of your edge beading, okay? And you can't see any stitches, all right? That's what.
Can you put that down and I'll get a close up?
So that's how that looks. I started with 4 beads, came up with 4, went down, in through the edge, out there, and then back up through that one. So you start with 4, bend it over. This is just for a stacked, a 2 double stacked. Now for each succeeding one of the double stack, you're going to put on, get in the edge, just use 2, go through the edge, come out on the side, and without taking a stitch, without going through the leather, get this around here so you can see it. There we go. Just go back up through those 2 beads to reinforce them. Okay? This is fun to do like on, a lot of people do it on jean jackets and stuff, you know, because it's kind of a nice tough edging. And if you do it well, you can wash it. I'd wash it by hand actually, or delicate. I'm just using 2. Okay, I took the stitch. Now I'm going back up, not just through the beads, just to reinforce it. Okay? 2 more. I'm going to use I'm trying to pick bigger beads so I think it looks better with bigger beads, not too skinny. And there'll be all the requisite height. I'm going in on the edge, beads width away from the other stitch, and out the side. Just a little stitch, back through those 2 I just put on just to reinforce them. Okay? Now you can vary this. One of the ways to vary it is to do this. You put on, oh heaven's sakes here, you put on 3 beads, because you've been putting on 2. And you go back through all 3. You have to kind of turn it around sometimes because these kind of twist on you. Okay, I'm going back through 3 without taking a stitch, just back through the beads to reinforce it. Okay, then I'm going to put on 4 beads. 1, 2. Three, 4. Using bigger beads, I'm going to go back through, taking a stitch on the edge, out the side. There we go, back through those 4, all 4. You can do 2 at a time if you want, if you can't get. Here, I'm just going to go back through, I'm going to go through 2. Got to pull that down. Go through 2. And then I'm going to go through the other 2. They get kind of wobbly on you. There we go. So I've gone through the 4. I went from 2 to 3 to 4. Okay. Now that looks a little funny. That loop is a little funny, so we're gonna fix that. I'm gonna pull this back. Okay, I'm gonna pull down on the original. There, that's better. Now I'm gonna pull up the reinforcing thread. See? That made that loop disappear. That was looking kind of tacky. Now we're going to go back to 3. On the edge, off to the side, just a little stitch. Don't make your stitch too big or it's going to show. There's your 3. And now we're going to go back to 2. Okay, on the side, off, little nick of a stitch, back to 2. Okay. There you go. So you can have this little zigzag thing, little hill thing going. Okay, you see that? And I'm going to put on a couple more. Then I'm going to show you how to add a 3rd bead on the top. I think some people call it picot, P-I-C-O-T, edging. It's nice and decorative. But this is really a nice way to finish. You know, really when you work with anything, any kind of handwork, but especially with beads, that's hanging down there a little bit. I don't like that as much, but I really pulled it tight. That's probably why. But you get the idea of the little up and down. I'm not real satisfied with that. Okay. To do this one, this picot edging, P-I-C-O-T, you put on 2 beads, and I'm going to use a different color bead. This is a much bigger bead, actually. And, you put on that bigger bead, the different color bead first, then you do your blue beads, okay? Otherwise, do the same stitch on the side, on the edge, and then off to the side. And then when you go back, you're going back through just the 2 blue beads, not that white bead or the whatever bead, whatever color you have. Okay? And to continue that one, you take, here's one stray bead, a white one, 2 blue ones in the edge, off to the side. Here we go. Just through the blue ones, not the white one. And that just forces that white one up to the top. You see that?
Okay.
I put on the one white bead, the two blue beads. Gonna go in the edge, off to the side, little stitch. And just back through just the two blue beads to reinforce it, forcing that one white bead to the top. You can use any color you want, different sizes, doesn't matter. You know? But that's how you do that. And if you take your stitch little, see right there, you can kind of see a little bit of stitching. Generally, when I do my beadwork, I like to just butt right up to that. I do the edge beading first so that I can, just stuck myself. I do the edge beading first and then I butt right up to it. I usually try to get all my borders done and then fill in because I like to have a lot of coverage. I'll do this one more time just so you can see it and then I'll tie it off. And if you were doing this around the top of a bag, say, you would just continue all the way around. And when you got over to here, where you're going to join the edges, you probably would already have this sewn together. And then pretend that isn't there. You would just go down in through this and then out the back instead of the front and tie it off, and then you would have everything just joined up seamlessly. So we did the one white, and we're going to go, and I'm going to show you kind of how if you want to just have a, so with this one, for instance, now I'm going to stop, like if you run out of thread and have to change, just go on the edge, but come out the back side. Okay? Just like that. And tie it off. Like so. Just one knot is good. There. And then, to start it up again, just tie a knot in your thread. Tie that grandma knot, that thing where you wrap it around, roll it off the end of your finger, and you have a knot. If you want, you can clip off that rat tail. And then, to start again, come from the back, right up under those beads on the front, like so. Right there, go out, and then when you're through like that, then go up to your reinforcing stitch. This is like I say, if you've had to change your thread. Go up and start over again. And that's all there is to it. Edge beading is really pretty satisfying. And like I say, you can do it around your cuffs or your lapels, anywhere, on your pockets, down your plackets, front. And it's a very traditional finish, and it's the finished details that really make your piece. And that's how you do it.